Hi, in this video I'm gonna show you how I transformed this beaten up paperback of The Hobbit into this first edition replica. See you in the video. Okay, let's start with the measurements. Here I'll measure 3 sides of the book. First the width, in this case we got 12 centimeters. Second, the height of the book, which will be 18 centimeters. Lastly, the spine. Here right away you'll notice a small mistake I did. I measured only the spine. The right thing to do is to measure with the book boards against the book block. This way we'll have the accurate width of the book board stripe that goes into the spine. And here I'm measuring and correcting the value to 2.4 centimeters. And now we have all the measurements needed to this book project. Let's go to the computer to design the covers. Okay, here we are, and I just opened Inkscape, which is going to be the software that I'm going to edit that cover. As you can see here, I put the measurements of the paper, the green paper that I just cut there in my workspace. And the height will be the letter paper height. So, and these dotted lines that you see here is the measurements of the cover itself. So this way I'm going to be able to position the elements of this page in here. So let's start. I have already separated all the elements that I'm going to use. The spine, title, and the information about the editor, this logo, the dragon, and the title, and this mountain here. As a reference, you can see here, I have some photos of the original cover of the book. And we are going to replicate this right here. So let's start with the mountains, with this, which is the most obvious one. I'll just click in here and I'll drag it down like this. So we're going to have the mountains positioned here in this cover. The next one is going to be the title. So once again, let me just select the title here. This way. And I'll position here like this. Let me just align this cover here, just see exactly where the title will be. So it's gonna be just right here. Just right here. I can even reduce a little bit the size of the font, and maybe just like this. Okay, it's looking good. The next one will be the dragon. So we have 2 dragons, one on each cover, one in the front cover and one on the back cover. Let me position this first one here with the wings facing the exterior. So just like this. And I'm gonna do a duplicate here of this dragon and position in here, but I will just flip the picture like this. So we are going to have this position of the dragon here. Now the next one is the spine. So once again, let me just see where the elements are. And I'll drag I'll drag all the elements and position each one separately. So the Hobbit in the spine is going to be at the same level of the T in the other main title. So like this is good, just like this. The logo, I'll try to position in the middle. It's like it is in the middle of the spine, maybe just a little bit. And the editor, I will just push it down here like this. So here we have our cover. One final touch that I'm gonna do is to add this linen texture here. So let me just position this here on the back of the drawing or on top of the paper, and I will just move it back in the layer. So this one is going to be printed in the paper, and it will add a slight linen texture. So we're not going to see too much of this texture, but hopefully it's going to make an effect and mimic, since we are going to print on paper and not in book cloth. So now it's ready. The last thing I want to do is to remove the dotted lines here, because I don't want them to be shown in the print itself. So let me delete this one, each one of them. Like this, and we have our page. Let's give it a try and print it out. But before, let me just pause here for a second. You're gonna see that when I drag the texture over the design, I lost somehow the title of the book, which I fixed this off camera, so we're not gonna see this right now, but in the final print it's gonna be there. With the measures in hand, I just transfer this to the boards and cut each one of them. So I have the two front and back covers, and later I'm gonna cut this spine. So we're gonna have our three pieces that will form the cover later. What you're seeing here is me measuring a 3mm clearance from the edge of the cover, because the cover itself is a little bit larger than the text block. That's why I'm using this spacer to help me measure without doing all the measurements with a ruler. So it's a 3mm spacer. Once one cover is done, I'll just use the same cover to make the measurements without doing all over again. So I just mark on the edges and then use the ruler to guide me while doing the cut. The next step here is to measure the spine. So to make the measurements, I'll use one of the covers to measure the height, which is going to be the same, and later just doing the measurement of the width, which is 2.4 centimeters, and then just trace a straight line and we are done. And after that we just need to make the cut. To assemble the cover, I'll just use a piece of scrap paper that I use in another project to hold the parts together. I'll glue the spine first, and it's going to be the center of our cover. So I'll just spread in the glue here, and I'll place this cardboard for the spine in the center. Using my 7mm spacer, I will mark where I'm gonna glue the other two boards on each side. So just using the spacer, which is easier for me to work instead of measuring every time. So I'll place the cardboard there and press it down so the glue can stick. I'll do the same thing in the other side. Use the spacer, spread the glue. I'm using a brush here, it's much cleaner to do that way. And later just go and place the cardboard and press it down. After the glue is somewhat dry, I can take the time to trim the excess of this scrap paper. So we have our case done. As you can see here, I'm just measuring and seeing if it's perfect or not. And if it's not, I'm just going to trim the boards to make it better and more adjusted to the text block. Now it's time to test the cover print that I did earlier over my green paper. And what I'm gonna do here is just to place this print over the book boards of my cover, my assembled cover, and I will slightly crease to look at the position of each one of the sides of the cover, the front and the back cover. Once I'm satisfied with the positioning, I'll just reinforce the crease, and then I'll be ready to glue this print over the hardcover. To glue the print, I will start with the spine, since it's in the center, and this will guide the entire cover, the front and the back, and it's gonna be centered in the spine. So I'm just spreading the glue here, and then I will place the cover over the print that I did earlier. In this step here, I'm just trimming the edges of the cover to be easier to fold it after. Now I'm ready to spread the glue all around and then fold it against the book cover. If you have a bond folder, you can use it to press it down. In this step here, I'll prepare the text block, which is the old paperback. I'll remove both front and the back maps, which had some pages torn apart or missing. I'll also trim the cover, leaving about 2 centimeters that I'll use later to attach to the hardcover. In the last minute, I decided to trim the edges of the book block. I'm not sure I made the best decision here, since I didn't use a book plow. Instead, I used a utility knife. It will cut, but it can leave some rough edges. To fix this, I had to sand the book block edge. At the end, it smoothed out, not perfect, but smooth. It was not in my plans to leave the books without its cool maps, so I printed them in a good resolution in a cardstock paper. I'll use the maps as end papers, so it will finish the hardcover and keep the maps where they meant to be. It's a good advice to trim the end papers after you glue them in the book block. So you can just use a ruler and guide them through the edge of the book block. You are going to have always good fitting end papers doing this technique. Now the final step is to glue the hardcover to the text block. This is more simple than it looks. You need to spread a good amount of glue in the back of the end paper. Spread it with a brush to not have clumps. Then carefully align the book block 3 mm from each one of the edges and press it down. You can use something to block the moisture of the glue to not penetrate the book block and wrinkle the pages. Here I'm using a piece of vinyl that I have and I use for my projects, but you can use parchment paper or something like that. To glue the other cover, repeat the step of spreading the glue in the back of the end paper. Hold the spine, which has no glue on the back, against the back of the book block and let the cover fall over. Then press it down with some heavy weights or a book press. This is the final result of my first edition replica of The Hobbit. I'm very satisfied with the results, and it's gonna look much better in my bookcase. Check out other videos where I make other replicas and bind different types of books. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the Page Odyssey channel for more bookbinding projects. Leave me a comment below saying what you'd like to see in the channel. See you in the next one.